the world has been absolutely horrified by this discovery of this mass grave in Izium. What was your reaction to it? And of course, it must make you all think that there are more of these graves.
Honestly, my brain just went into frozen mode, a bit like it did when Bucha was uncovered and all of the war crimes that were surfacing there. Izium is pretty much the same, and I believe that every single village, town, and city that is going to be freed up from Russian occupation is going to be unraveled as an evidence site of crimes against humanity, war crimes, attempts at the crime of genocide, and it's a tragedy. I can't find any other word that would be more fitting. Although for me personally, that word does not convey the storm of emotions that I really feel inside, and that my brain still can't piece together into coherent sentences and words.
I mean, it must be so much to process, and as you say, just so incredibly difficult. I mean, from reports, it looks like some have been tortured. Many people are saying that this will be, absolutely part of a war crime. I mean, do you feel that you'll ever be able to really get to the truth about what's happened there, and that you'll ever really be able to get justice for what has happened?
Oh, we have to. I mean, it's not just about Ukrainians getting down to the truth and justice being served to the families who have lost their loved ones and to whole families that were just exterminated by Russian soldiers. No, it's more than that. It's about justice being served for our generation of human beings, for our generation of the human civilization. And it's actually about making sure that such crimes do not repeat themselves in the future, and that no one in their right mind ever has any kind of notion or idea to make these crimes yet again rather than never again. And in order for that to happen, evidence must be collected, it must be properly documented, it must be submitted to the International Criminal Court, to the International Court of Justice, to a special tribunal that is bound to be set up on the aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. And as a result of the rulings of these international courts, reparations must be paid by Russia and by the Russians. And maybe not even for just one generation, but for several, so that the message really sinks in that war crimes are wrong, crimes against humanity are wrong, killing other humans just because they speak a different language and want to speak that language, just because they have a different culture and traditions, is just completely wrong and has no place in this world. You were just talking about empires and promoting a podcast on empires. I think that a part of it should be talking about Russia and Russia trying to reestablish an empire
Mm.
at the cost of Ukraine, Ukraine's territory, and Ukraine's people.
Yeah.
And that's just wrong. And that should have no space in the 21st century whatsoever.
Absolutely. That's a really, really powerful point, because we've been looking back at historical empire, but this is very much contemporary history that we are seeing playing out now. Lesia, let's just take a step back and look at the broader state of where the conflict is. It does look like Ukraine has really pushed forward over the last few days and weeks and has recaptured territory. But is this too early to say that the tide is turning, in your opinion?
That's another part of it. So we in Ukraine, we feel like we are either at a breaking point or very close to the breaking point where the tables will be turned in Ukraine's favor. And the advances that Ukraine's military is making in the northeast and southeast, and actually all along the Ukraine-Russian border, they make us smile. They make me smile. And at the same time, in contrast, comes up these news of the mass graves, of the mass tortures, of the mass killings that were taking place all along in these territories. And I think this is what makes it very hard for us here in Ukraine to digest, because on the one hand, we want to celebrate together with our military, and we want to sort of urge them on and with these positive airs. But at the same time, it's like, we are not eligible to do that, and we cannot do that because of the so many losses and the so many human tragedies that accompany these advancements. And they are not because of the Ukrainian army, they are because of the Russian army and because of what we uncover once the Russian army leaves.
And final question to you, Lesia, do you fear a very cruel Russian response to the fact that Ukraine is doing well? Do you feel that President Putin will want to redouble his efforts?
Well, whatever he does, we in Ukraine, we are prepared for it. We have no plan B, or we have only one plan: is to regain Ukraine's territory, Ukraine's sovereignty, and to make sure that we stay strong, independent, and push out every single Russian soldier from our territory. That's basically how we felt since the attacks early in the morning on the 24th of February. And this is how we feel now in this 206th day of war. And nothing's going to change that, no matter how much force and pressure Putin is going to apply. As for us, he's already committed every war crime in the rule book. He can increase it by number, but then it's up to us, the Ukrainian military, but also our international partners, to keep supplying Ukraine with more weapons and much faster, so that we can put an end to these sick strategies and to these crimes and atrocities that Russia is committing in Ukraine. The faster we kick them out from Ukraine and reestablish strong border control on the Ukraine-Russian border, the faster we can liberate many more people who are still suffering today, and the faster we can reestablish long-standing, long-term peace and security in Europe and beyond.